welcome to Don't Just Imagine. You're here listening to Paula Middleton from Manchester in the UK, and I'm starting this series of recordings called Don't Just Imagine, Own It. And the reason that I'm introducing this series is to empower others to take the steps that I've taken in the past to change my life. Now, I'm on a mission to help 1,000 families achieve empowerment and freedom by considering alternative approaches to finances, to spirituality, to personal development. And I am well on my way to achieve that goal in 2021, so I'm really, really grateful for that. But some of the ways that I've done that, I'm going to be exploring during this Own It series. And one of the things that I want to talk about today is the fear factor. Now, in my consultancy training business, I'm delivering 3 hours of Face the Fear trainings next week, and I'm just preparing some of those. Over 3 days I'll be doing an hour. I'm preparing my slides and everything for those trainings, and it got me thinking. We're in September, the children have just returned to school, and my 5-year-old has gone into year 1. And yesterday was the first day that she went back, and when we were at the gates, she was very, very tearful. And I think it was because when before, during the pandemic and all things like that, she went into school in smaller groups, whereas now things have changed and we're able to live a relatively normal life again. She's gone into school and it was very busy at the gates, and it just overwhelmed her, and she was very tearful. So the teacher actually helped her into school, and she was absolutely fine, and I knew she would be because she loves school. But it was in contrast to my 3-year-old who started nursery as well. So I walked through to nursery with him, and he was just raring to go. He was talking to everyone, not a tear to be seen. He didn't need me. Of course he does, but he didn't. He was wandering around and just enjoying the experience. And what's happened today, in the second day in, my 5-year-old has gone in, bright and breezy, no tears whatsoever. And the reason that I'm talking about this is because she's faced her fear. So yesterday she was fearful and she was tearful because she was at those gates with lots of people that she didn't recognise. She was going into a new year. She is a very emotional soul anyway. So she was worried, and she showed that in the form of tears, whereas she faced that fear. She still went ahead and did it. And today she's gone in, she's absolutely fine. My 3-year-old also did the same. He's absolutely fine too, which is just lovely to see. But don't we face many, many fears over the years of our lifetime? So we'll have the fears of, well, having said that, we face fears, but fear is really something that we learn. So as a child, as we're learning to walk, we'll learn that falling down on our behinds, we may have a nappy on or a diaper on, and it doesn't hurt so much, but we don't want to fall down, so we try again. And as an adult, now I when I was 7 years old, I had a problem with my legs, and I had to have both of my legs broken and metal rods put into my legs, and I had to learn to walk again. I was in hospital for many months, and I was being educated in hospital, going to the hospital school, and I was in a wheelchair for many months after, and I had to learn to walk again. Now the scars on my feet and on my ankles were so painful, and it was the pain it was the pain that caused fear in me learning to walk. I mean, I did learn to walk again, and I persevered with that, and I faced that fear. But the way we look at fear can change as well, because I was more fearful of never walking again. So I made a determined choice to face the fear and the pain of learning to walk at that time. Because the option of not walking or walking, I always wanted to be able to walk, of course, and I did it. And I think over time, when we become adults, the fears that we instill in ourselves, and I don't necessarily think it's our own fault. I do believe that it's more related to a lot of societal pressures and peer pressures and learned behaviour from others. But our fear factor is actually a lot more than it is when we're children. Because as children, we will just go for it. We'll just try it. And we might climb a tree that's way too high, and our parents have got their hearts in the mouth if you let your children climb trees. I'm a big believer in outdoor play, and I do allow my children to take certain risks in that way. But it's scary for us, whereas they're having an adventure and they're showing little fear. And it's things like that as a child, as we're learning. When we get older, we unlearn that lack of fear, and we replace that with huge fears. And it's worth remembering that we can, again, unlearn that fear as well. So some of the sessions I'm doing next week about facing fear is actually about public speaking. Some of it's business related, so it's about presenting to an audience. And a lot of the focus is about unlearning learned fear, because we do learn how to be fearful. And we have a comfort zone, and when we're an adult, we can weigh up the pros and cons of staying in our comfort zone. And as an adult, we don't really want to feel uncomfortable with anything that we do. A lot of us will always stay in that comfort zone because it feels comfortable and we don't put ourselves out there. But when we do face that fear and put ourselves out there, more things happen for the good. So you may have that moment or that length of time where you feel that fear and you are worried and you don't want to be out of that comfort zone and you feel a bit anxious. But once you've completed whatever act it is, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever project that you're working on, if you're speaking in front of an audience, whatever it might be, once you've completed it, you feel so empowered and inspired because you've achieved that. Now, I'm reading a book by Ant Middleton, who talks about the fear bubble. And I do recommend it because he simplifies how to approach fear. But I hope this has been of some value to you. If you like this, please do share with others. It's lovely to be here, and I will speak to you very soon. It's Paula Middleton from Manchester in the UK with Don't Just Imagine, Own It. Thank